Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the part 3 of the Agentic AI project lifecycle. So we have seen total 2 parts in this topic. That is part 1 about the overall Agentic AI project lifecycle, and in the last part 2 we have discussed the 4 stages. So today we'll be continuing this topic, that is Agentic AI project lifecycle. So before that, I would like to thank all my subscribers who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, and also requesting to the new watchers to please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel AI Stories by Anjali. So now let us dive deep into the video. Firstly, we have seen that there are multiple stages in the Agentic AI project lifecycle, that is total 8 stages. So we have discussed the first 4 stages. So now we will be seeing the 5th stage, that is test and validate. So we know what is meant by test and what is meant by validate. So I will give a clear example. So test means you are just testing the functionality, whether the application is working with your desired requirements or not. Whereas validation is nothing but validation the result, that is, for the given input, what is the correct output. So what is the desired output for a given input. So this is what validation means. For example, there is an application, so you have developed the application, so you're testing that. So for testing, you'll just see whether the application is working or not. Whereas validation, you will give an input and you will see what is the particular output. So that is the main difference between testing and validation. So how you can do that? We can do using the evaluation technique, that is for validating the result, whether it is giving the correct results or not, how far it is giving the correct results, for how many inputs it is giving the correct results. So that you can do evaluations like accuracy, and you can find coherence. And for testing, you can do whether all the given tasks have been completed or not. So this is what the test and validation means. And also you can get the feedback from the stakeholder, because they are the ones who are using our product. We have to ensure whether those are those stakeholders are being satisfying or not. So that is the main thing that we have to see. Okay, and the third one is you have to define the KPIs as well as CSAT and ROI. So what is meant by KPIs, CSAT and ROI? So I will make a clear video on this, but for your understanding, I will give a clear definition. For example, you have like most of you have tried the theme parks and adventure islands, right? So before, like if you want to try any roller coaster, if you start like if you want to experience that, like when you get into that roller coaster or any ride, you will see some regulations and rules beside that. Like they will tell, like you have to be this much height, you have to be this much age, and you should not do like you should not have any of these things like high blood pressure, something like that. So why they have been doing that? Because they are defining that strategies, they are defining that rules. So whoever are doing that, first they have to possess these things. So similarly, whenever you are testing, you have to make sure all, like you have to first define some rules and strategies based on your requirements, based on the customer feedback, based on the customer requirements, etc., and then you will test it. So you have to pass all those things. And one more simple example, if I see, if you understand, if you know, like most of you have written the exams with respect to different companies when you are applying. So you have written hacker rank, you have written lead code and some other things. So when you do a particular problem, and if you do run solution, it will give some test cases as passed, and then if you submit, then few more test cases will get passed. So that means all these things are the scenarios, like either positive scenarios or the negative scenarios, everything. So for a given application, you have to think what are the positive scenarios, what are the negative scenarios, what are the overall expectations, and then you can test your product. So that is what you can do using the testing. And the next one is validation. So validation means you are validating the results, like for a particular input, what is the output. For example, if there is a program called addition, so whenever you are doing addition, so it should give the correct result by summing up those two. So that is called validation. Like you will test for a couple of numbers and you will say whether that is working fine or not. So that is called validation. So this is the main difference between testing and validation. So this is one stage in the Agentic AI project life cycle. Now coming to the next stage, that is deploy and integrate. So deploy means you are deploying your application, you are deploying your product to the consumer or to the client, so that the client can use or the consumer can use. So that is called deployment. What is meant by integrate? Integrate means you're integrating your particular thing into the existing business business use cases. For example, so I will tell you a simple example. So whatever you're for example, there is a guest coming to your home, so you are just preparing some dishes, etc., etc. So when the guest came, you will just serve your whatever the cooked dishes into your serving a bowl or something like that, and you make everything into the dining table, and you will arrange the plates, forks, spoons, glasses, etc. So that means you are using those things for serving to your guest. Similarly, whatever the product that you developed, you are deploying that into a particular platform so that the consumer can use that product. So that is the main thing between deploy. So for deployment, there are multiple things, especially for the data field or any AI field, there will be pipelines. So pipelines are nothing but the entire end-to-end platform where the data is collected and the data is stored into a particular place called database or data warehouses or data mart. So this is nothing but the pipeline. So there, and for this pipeline to do automated, to do continuously, so this will be done using CI/CD pipeline. So that is continuous integration and continuous deployment, so that there won't be any time waste. So that is the main thing between deployment. Okay, so what is meant by integration? So integration is nothing but, as I mentioned earlier, for example, if there is a website like that your organization is running, so you have developed an automated chatbot. So now you have to integrate that thing into your existing application so that the website, the students can use your website or the consumers can use your website, like that. So that is the difference between deploy and integration. Deploy means you are deploying. Integration means you are integrating to the current existing application or current existing website or any server, etc. So all these things need to be done in a loop, and you can do this by using you can achieve logging and observability things also in this. For example, you have to ensure whether the pipeline is continuously running or not, whether the pipeline is doing any errors or any mistake, any throwing any errors, etc., like that, because this need to be monitored. So we'll be having logs for that. Okay, so that is the main things that we are doing in this stage, that is deploy and integrate. The next one is monitor and improve. As I mentioned, not only in Agentic AI but in every project, the first thing that you should do is, once you develop your product, once you have deployed your product, once you have deployed your application, so the consumers are using that application, the consumer are making sure that okay, this is the thing, like that. So once the consumer used your application, they will get some reviews, right? You'll get some reviews, they will give some reviews, right? So based on that reviews, based on that, you can further improvise. So like success rate, errors, like how much they're satisfied, then based on that you can retrain your model or optimize your agent. So the best thing that you can do is you can use some tools like Langsmith and WNP. So I will discuss a separate video on this, as well as the terms that we discussed here, that is KPS and CSAT. So I will make a video on that, but as of now you can use these tools for monitoring as well as improvement. So similar, like nothing but fine tuning and further enhancing. Okay, so that is the main thing that we can do in this stage. And the next one is scale and expand. So what is meant by scale and expand? So whatever initially when you develop, you won't develop on a large scale, right? First you will see whether you developed or not and launch that product and make sure how many customers are using. Based on the demand, then you can expand it. So scale and expand, basically it will we will use cloud for deploying your application, or for making sure that whatever the resources that you're using, if more consumers are in demand, then you can scale up your resources and you can expand. So that means you can move to autopilot mode, you can add more domains, you can use infrastructure, governance, etc. in the cloud, and you can think on that. So that is the main thing that you can do in this stage. So this is the last stage in the agentic AI project lifecycle. So overall, I could say this is the summary. So make sure that whatever the things that we discussed in each and every stage need to be accomplished in that stage. If you cannot able to do that, then you can do in the loop, that is you can repeat that in the iterations and you can do. So that is the main thing about the agentic AI project life cycle. So on the summary, I could say there are total 8 stages in the agentic AI project life cycle. So firstly, you will define your strategy, what are the visions and goals, and what is the executive alignment. So that is your first step, and then you will make sure all your data infrastructure is ready, and then you will think of your use cases, like where to start, and then you will build some prototypes, and then you will validate and test your prototype, and based on that you will define some rules and you will improve that. And then once you develop your entire product, because building and validation, this will run through a loop, that is a couple of iterations, and once you're done with that, you will deploy your application, and then you will monitor it, and then you will scale and expand. So this is the entire life cycle of agentic AI project life cycle. So what are the final thoughts? So always make sure you have to use strategy as well as some practice for getting success, and always start with small and then scale, and then based on that you can do all. The best thing is doing a SL methodology, and also ethical is very important, because we know that even if a human speak an abusive language, so we can't tolerate that, right? Then how a machine can make sure, like, we have to make sure that whatever the machine is giving the answers, it need to be the ethical thing. It should not use any abusive words, it should not encourage the human to do to go in the wrong direction. So we need to follow the ethical laws. So this is about the agentic AI project life cycle. So we have discussed basically 3 videos on that. That is part 1, part 2, and part 3. This is part 3. So I hope you understand the agentic AI project life cycle. So if you have any doubts, just comment me in the comment section. So I will definitely reply that. So, and for more videos, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, AI Stories by Anjali. Thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you.